find myself thinking a lot about consciousness and often wondering the question I often ask is it a gift or a curse that we were given or randomly got consciousness? But of late I find myself asking the question more like, do we deserve consciousness? And by that I mean, with consciousness, we have the ability to see and understand and process things that we otherwise wouldn't, right? Other animals, a dog, whatever, a plant, other living beings, other living things, they don't have the ability to be aware, to see things, to understand them, to reflect on them, and to do something about it or to take some action or any of that, right? It's all very like first level, very direct. I'm hungry, I eat. I'm tired, I sleep. We have the ability to say, why am I hungry right now? Should I eat? Even though my body's telling me I need to eat. Should I do that or should I do something else? As just a silly example. And the reason I wonder if we deserve consciousness, or maybe even to go further, like have we like wasted consciousness? Have we do we even really still have consciousness in the spirit that we think we have it, right? If you think about it in the way that I was just explaining it, that ability to be aware, to observe, to reflect, to process, to understand, and to do something with that. Do we actually even have that, right? I mean, there's so many people, it's almost cliched at this point, that say the way we function as a society is we're all kind of just going through the motions. We're so caught up in the day-to-day, whether it be the things we're dealing with, our jobs, stresses, family life, credit card bills, the football game we're watching, all this stuff that just kind of fills our day that we kind of just go through. How often do we actually stop and reflect and consider? So like, even though in theory we have the ability to do that, collectively we don't seem to do it. And nowhere is that more resonant with me or more palpable for me than when you think about the suffering that goes on in the world, right? Literally right now, as I'm making this video, somebody's being beaten, tortured, raped, molested, murdered, people dying of disease, all these different things. And I'm making this video. And when I finish this video, I'll probably go do a work call. And then maybe I'll go talk to my wife for a little bit. And then I'll eat something. And then I'll watch TV, right? I'll just go about my business. How is that consciousness? How is that taking advantage of this gift or this tool that we have? How is that any different than the dog who's hungry so they eat, or they're tired so they sleep? Am I actually taking advantage of this ability to deeply think and reflect on what's going on in the world? And if you wanted to take, I don't know if it's a spiritual or I don't even know what you would call it, but there's a point of view, and I've heard it come up often with people that I talk to, that consciousness is a way for the universe. One of the phrases that really resonates with me is that consciousness is a way for the universe to understand itself. If you think of us as part of nature and part of the universe, we're not detached from it. Our consciousness is just a way for that overall ecosystem or organism, whatever you want to call it, to understand, to reflect, to see, and understand what actually is happening here, what's happening in this world, right? If there's a planet out there, as far as we can tell, the planet has no consciousness, it has no awareness of what's going on in the universe around it. The tree outside my house right now has no awareness that somewhere in the world somebody's being raped or beaten. But I do. We do. But are we really doing anything different than the tree or that planet? Or are we just wasting consciousness? Do we actually deserve to have it if we're not actually going to use it? And it's weird because some people would listen to this and be like, dude, fucking chill out. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, kind of sounds like real idealistic, hippie-ish, I don't even know. And that's kind of the point, right? Like, we've convinced ourselves that thinking deeply about the troubles of the world, of the things actually happening around us, are a waste of time, are almost offensive to think about. The only logical thing we should do is just go about our business. And yeah, you should worry about your job and that deadline you have tomorrow, or that promotion you're hoping to get, or the football game that's going on, or my fantasy football team, right? Like that's what you should worry about. That's life. Be in the moment, be here, be all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, like I understand some of that is good advice. But the way we've collectively kind of programmed ourselves and moved forward with this to just act as if nothing's going on around us. It's kind of insane when you really think about it. And it genuinely makes me wonder, what was the point? What was the point of us gaining this consciousness? Is it really that special and amazing? Because it doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem like we're capable of actually utilizing it for what it's meant to be utilized for. Now, somebody could counter, and this would maybe be the most valid counter, and say, no. Like, you got it wrong. We deserve consciousness. We appreciate it. We, right, collectively throughout human history. There's just nothing we could do about it. We could be aware of all this stuff, but the nature of the world and the design of how we are and all these different things, it's inevitable. There's going to be pain and suffering. So if the idea is that the only way we would deserve consciousness or be using it effectively is if we made the world a better place or got rid of suffering, it's just not realistic. So it doesn't speak to our inability to use consciousness. It just speaks to the nature of the world. In some ways, this is where consciousness does become more of a curse. All it does is make us aware of all the ugliness that's out there. So we'd be better off not knowing about it. Like, the fact, it's almost this sick, twisted trick the universe played on us, or God, whatever you want to call it, that they gave us this consciousness because we can do nothing about it, but we see it. We see it all. We can process it. So we had no choice but to just kind of turn it off and just be like, well, I can't think about that. I can just think about this stuff right in front of me. Either way, maybe that's true. Maybe. I would argue, I don't know that we've fully tested that out and proven that we've tried to make things better as best we can. But either way, either we're wasting it or it's a waste altogether. So the thing that many of us believe is one of the most profound, sophisticated, amazing things that exist in the universe, our ability to be aware. I think, therefore I am, right? That whole concept of the fact that we even know we exist is amazing. Is it? Is it that amazing? If it doesn't result in anything positive? And somebody might say, well, we've done amazing things. Sure, there's good things in the world. But the fact that I'm making this video, that you're possibly watching this video, or maybe you're not, you're doing something else in the world, but we're not all like full stop. There's things within our control that we can ease and eliminate unnecessary suffering, and we choose not to. I mean, what's the point then? How amazing could consciousness possibly be?